I'm going to call this meeting to order. It's the Michigan City Urban Enterprise Association. The approval of minutes from June.
Motion to approve the minutes. Yes.
Everybody read them?
Yeah, that's true. I read them.
That's okay. You have a motion on the floor, so I have a second just for discussion. Second. I'll have a second. And I'll give a minute for everybody to kind of glance at it, and if you see something that needs to be amended. Hearing none. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. New business, 2019 grant applications.
Financial reports.
Yeah, we have, I know.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm skipping because we have a guest, I guess, with us, so I want to make sure that he doesn't get tied up with other stuff, I guess, that you're talking about. So, everybody's okay. I think I'll give the floor to Carol, or Caroline, I'm sorry, I apologize.
It's all right.
Yeah. Caroline, please introduce yourself for the minutes and where you're from, and welcome.
Thank you. I'm Caroline Arnett from Purdue Extension. I'm the county's community wellness coordinator. And all that means is I'm trying to make the healthy choice the easy choice for this county. My focus tends to be in limited income areas, but that's not necessarily where I always have to focus. But there's just they did the research and it shows if you start there, it actually moves up quicker than starting in more affluent areas. So. What would you like? Do you want just the background of the project right now?
Kind of an overview of the application that you're applying for.
Okay.
Because this is kind of a special case in a way for the board. So if it's okay with you, just give us a background about the project itself, the organization that's going to be managing the grant, who we are paying to, and how much you need, and
Absolutely.
what was the amount that it's actually spent on the project, and what's the total, project, and how it's going to fit in the urban enterprise and enhance it.
So the community development block grant pays for the majority of everything. Last year, I believe we spent $24,000 on the beds, the fence, the shed, the plants, a lot of miscellaneous items. Might have been 23,000, so I don't have the exact number on me right now. The two things we're asking for reimbursement for under the beautification are the plants, about $1,400 worth, and then the shed was actually $2,800, but I think I'm asking for $2,500, so I was under that $4,000 mark. The process of it is yearly, the community development grant gives us a budget. We stay within that, we build whatever we can. I find grant money to pay our gardening manager. She's actually master gardener now, and she takes care of 12 U-pick beds that anybody in the local community can come and just access as a thank you for allowing us to take a pretty large section of their community park. In the back, we have 10 residential beds. We had them all planted last year, and we had about 4 people take them. This year, we actually tripled participation, and we now have a waiting list, so it's been a really successful project. We're trying to actually put in about 25 more residential beds for fall of this year. The Parks Department's a little hesitant about that just because it would take up so much space, but they did allow us to add at least 10 more at this point. So what we're asking for the money for is I can always buy the plants, I can buy a new shed, but what I don't have is an educational budget, and that's been a kind of a missing piece out of this garden. We have the master gardener there. We're currently doing like a series with Chef Eric Tannenhill, if you're familiar with them. We had 40 people there last Thursday night. 2 weeks prior to that, we had, I think about 18 or 19 people. So it's been successful, but we want to actually do a lot more like that. So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, go ahead, I apologize.
It was brilliant to tie in the chef with to show different ways how to prepare the food. It's really...
He's doing actually a really great job. Whatever's in season that day or right We actually did fried green tomatoes, just because that's always like a big request there, and it was actually wonderful. He did a salad 2 weeks prior to that with raw collard greens and kale, and nobody was like, I don't really want to eat that, and then everybody went back in 1 second, so it was really good. Let me think of what else. So with the funding, the money's not directly given to us. Either my office is willing to write a check, or the Parks Department will go in and purchase things for us at Lowe's or something along that lines, and then they're asked for reimbursement later. So we pay up front, and then the CDD funds come back and reimburse them. So there's really never any money going through my hands. If you do award us this money, we're actually sitting under, we're not a 501c3. We're new, we've only been around for about a year. So we're sitting under Citizens Concern from the Homeless, so all of the money goes through them. He actually contracts our garden manager. I have to find a grant every year to pay her. It's about $4,000, and he takes the money in and then distributes to her every 2 weeks.
So if I'm not mistaken, the 1,400 and the 2,500 has been paid already. It's not
Yes.
like it's been, so this money will go towards something else, for programming or?
Yes,
So you're applying for programming, you're not applying for reimbursement of something else. So you're applying for something that this money is gonna be used to enhance even further the project itself, is that correct?
I'm applying for reimbursement of the shed and the plants we put in last year, and if you do award us that money, I will use that as our educational budget, the majority of it.
Well, my point, I guess, that the money has to be spent in a specific way, that we are allowing that specific way to actually be spent on.
Okay.
So my point, I guess, is, it's the programming that you're using this money, is the true, where the money is gonna be used. That is the truth of it, I guess.
Yes.
So if you are using this money for education, that's great. I'm not saying that's a wonderful cause. I'm just saying that that money is gonna be used for that. It's not a reimbursement anymore.
Okay.
Is that accurate? Is that an accurate statement of
Like
what you
they're
said?
applying for money for the training then.
Okay.
Has it been reimbursed yet to the Parks Department and the?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they answer, as soon as the bill comes in, they get reimbursed.
So it has been paid for?
Yeah, so,
Okay, so you're applying for the education itself, not for whatever it is that it's being done.
and I could be wrong, Sherry Wilson, the Community Development Block Grant said, if you guys wanted to reimburse us, we could take that money. We wouldn't have to give it back to the Parks or CDB. So the Parks Department took the money from the CDBG fund already, and if you reimburse us, then we would actually get to keep it and use it for education.
I'm gonna speak on just me personally, and I'm gonna keep it out there for the board, I guess. I would prefer to see the money going for something that is new, to enhance the actual program. Whether it's education, or whether it's the chef is doing more of what he's doing. So I believe if there is a pot of money that is allowable to reimburse for some of the sheds, or some of the, whatever the cost that you're asking for,
Okay.
it sounds like it's already allocated for that.
Yes.
And if this money is extra to actually help even further
Yes.
the project, that's wonderful. I mean, I'm all on board, I guess, for something that it's an addition, and especially in cooperation with other grants. That's exactly what we look for, actually, so it's perfect. So my point, I guess, that if the money is gonna be used for education or any other programming, I'm on board for it. Especially if there is another pot of money that is helping for the other stuff that you're requesting.
Yes.
That makes sense.
It's kind of semantic.
Yeah, so,
I would say that what they're needing, what they're asking for, yes, the education's a great idea, but it doesn't necessarily fit under our grant program. I mean, if the board wants to give them the grant money, that's fine, that's excellent, but it's not part of the neighborhood enhancement grant.
So the garden itself is not neighborhood enhancement, so that's what you're saying.
Well, the garden, the education, because,
So reimbursement for the shed and things like that would not count as
the
enhancement.
reimbursement for the shed, the reimbursement for the plants, helping pay the water bill, that's something other than the water bill, is tangible, which has been what this grant has been used for. Now, I'm all in favor of better education, no matter what it's for. But
Well, at the
it's
beginning,
not the same as what our grant has been used for in the past.
sure. And at the beginning, I said this is a special case, and
Right.
and again, talking to the entire board, and we had in the past done special cases grants for neighborhoods or for a specific project that the board believed that that's going to enhance the district. So I agree with you, it might not fall under the neighborhood grant or whatever the requirements, I guess, that we set as a board. That's why we're talking as a board, not as, a committee. It's not under the grant committee, I guess.
So we're going to have our jurisdiction.
Exactly.
So.
So I guess I'm just opening it to discussion for the board, unless if you have questions to Caroline.
I mean, it's been a big community project.
Had to ask that.
Brought it together, so I guess I would hate to say, okay, those are the guidelines, so it can get to the curb when there's creative ideas out there and it's
Yeah.
unique and it's different, okay, so it doesn't meet the guidelines, but
That's creative.
it doesn't enhance the neighborhood, does it do what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
It's an
No, I'm not
extremely,
saying kick it to the curb. I'm just saying.
I'm not talking just about, I'm saying there will be things that come to the board in the future, knowing that doesn't meet the guidelines, but you can't really prepare guidelines for everything that's out there.
Yeah.
So how do we make sure if we want to move forward, we don't always have one every meeting kind of thing, but also be, careful, but also.
The board has been always having the discretion to spend the money as we, all collectively please, so I think.
it's an extremely worthy project that seems to be growing in a great direction, especially adding the chef, which wasn't even on the table at first. This kind of just organically happens as well. It's really
And obviously,
a great thing
you
to
know where I stand, being that this is also in conjunction with the Eastport Neighborhood Improvement Group, and we've all come together to get this community garden down there, so.
And I have one good question, Caroline, but I'm not quite sure if you have it already as a programming or not, but could you speak a little bit about the education part of it that you're thinking that you're going to use this money for? How would you spend on the education, I guess, in your mind?
We want to continue the series with Chef Eric. We have funding through Franciscan for the food, but not for his time. And that's a big deal. He puts I'd say each class he's putting in probably about 3 hours of work that I just see. I don't know how much outside of that. We have classes through Purdue Extension in areas like for farm to freezer, dining with diabetes, Be Heart Smart. They're about $25 per person. And we could bring those in. They're anywhere from 3 to 5 session series, but we have to have funding for them.
Sure.
We're hoping just to bring in maybe some more master gardeners, which typically you don't have to pay in most circumstances, but if you're getting them there, sometimes you do have to pay. So we don't have it completely planned out, but I do know those 3 classes for sure I want to bring in. I want to expand what we're doing with Eric. And then I'm looking at trying to find someone who's good with kids. It's not me. I wish it was. And Rebecca's pretty good, but we're looking for a kids curriculum to bring into a kids gardening club. Kids are really interested in the garden, and it's been difficult to find a time just to gather them in together all at the same time. So we're hoping to have maybe 2 or 3 times a week where we have somebody sitting there ready to garden with these kids in their own special class with their own watering, so they're really incorporated into it better than what they are now.
And these lessons are free to the neighborhood and to the kids?
Yes, oh yeah. The point of this is that nobody in the neighborhood has to pay for the educational part of it.
Perfect.
So, and then down the road, we're hoping to, and I'm not sure if this would be paid or not, but to have a day where Franciscan comes in with one of their health buses and does like health screenings for a full day for free for people, and do maybe, I know the name of it and I'm blanking because I'm standing in front of you. Oh, a health fair, there you go. Hoping to do a health fair right at the garden, so.
that'd be great.
Awesome. What's the pleasure of the board?
That's what I'm asking for.
I'm asking, how much you're asking for? 1,400 and 2,500, is that right?
Yeah.
So the total is close to
3,100, yeah. That would not be spent in a year. I just want to state that would probably last us for a couple to 3 years is what I'm thinking for the educational budget. I think I needed to spend in a year, I certainly could, but wouldn't think we'd spend that much in a year.
Do you feel that this program is a pilot program that hopefully be replicated throughout the city?
I hope so. I hope so. I can tell you with this mobile cart, it looks similar to a hot dog cart. It's basically like a kitchen on wheels. When Franciscan first purchased that, it was for their use. They had some dietitians leave, so they weren't going to use it in the neighborhood, so they've asked me to coordinate that. So I'm hoping to be able to actually coordinate that throughout the city, not just, now this year money would not go throughout the city, it would just be for that appropriate area, but I'm hoping to see it used over the city.
Okay. Well, what's the pleasure of the board? 3,400? Yeah, we'll be going to the education of the garden, through the.
Everything is within the UBZ too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But it's
Yes.
through the organization of citizen.
Concern for the homeless, yeah.
Yeah. But it'll be specific for that use and for that location.
Yes.
I have a tough time saying no because it does bring the neighborhoods together.
I was going to say, I think I'm going to support everybody and say, I'll make a motion that we give them $3,400.
Second.
The motion in a second.
And you know,
Write this down. Write this down.
and I do have to say that for me being solely involved in this whole thing, you know, I do set the council. If I have something that comes up like this, I always abstain from a vote. When
You don't have to.
I'm just saying, I always do. So
You don't have, I don't see a conflict there. I mean, the money's not going into your pocket, right?
Any prejudice then. I'm going to talk to Caroline outside.
Every time you say this,
Are you eating some of the vegetables?
Actually, I have a bit.
That's good.
So I think that with the education and the help of the city, it's worth the money.
Great. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations, Carol.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This was the piece we were missing. Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Thank you
That's awesome.
so much. Oh, y'all need anything else from me?
No, thank you so much.
Oh,
Good job.
thank you so much. Thank you all.
Caroline also sent yesterday, right, I believe, a variety of pictures. That's why I have my computer out of the before and after of the garden. So if anyone wants to look at that.
Diane will be in touch with you for the actual check and maybe a press release or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Carol.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, I gave it like a little swoon.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Thank you for what you do. We're like back again to Director of Financial Reports, Diane.
It's a good way to start.
It is a good way to start. Okay, what do I want to say here? Looking at our account balances, we have $140,489.64 in the checking account and $10,079.29 in the money market account. As you may remember, last month I gave you sort of a receivables, a possible receivables. I don't send the billing out until mid-September, and this year it seems like everything changes year by year. And this year we have a new organization that is taking. It's called the AIEZ, or the Association of Indiana Economic Corporation, and they are looking at every single one of the EZBRs to make sure that the law has been followed perfectly. So I'm working with them downstate. There are a few of our companies that have not met the requirements of the UEZ. And so we're just, we're going to have to work with that organization this year. And so the billing may change, but that's just something that we're all working on. It's kind of a new process.
What type of companies?
Well, the companies that filed for the investment deduction. So technically, they have to take the money that they're saving and sort of reinvest it in the areas. So,
Dan, did we receive the check from, Solar? Well, that's Solar.
No.
It's
No.
not.
we will be billing for them, they have met their requirements though. So, no, we have not received that. So none of the receivables, I think we figured between 150, I didn't bring the receivable documents, between 150 and 160,000. That'll be in addition to what we have.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so no, I've received little tiny checks because we've got a couple of accounts like, Centure Bank and Horizon Bank and things like that. They have loan interest credit. There's a few different programs that falls under this. One's loan interest credit. They usually just send a check. But for the investment deductions, which are people like Sandin or Solaire or Wiley McLean, I don't bill them until September, so we don't usually get any money until then.
Until then.
Until then. But anyway, each year, well, because of this law change, as you recall, last July, things kind of changed up again. We have a new person downstate, and so it's just a little bit new. We're just working out everything, that's all.
Did we ask the question about actually expanding the district throughout the entire city, and is this in our privy only, or do we have to do an amendment to the resolution, or?
I believe it is within the privy of and I think we're gonna possibly talk about that later with the, because the local UEZs do have the ability to do that, change the boundaries, et cetera. Which, I don't know.
Is that under the new law?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so was that question arised in the meeting of Indiana Association of Urban Enterprise?
It did not arise, no. But
Could we get a confirmation of this from them, if you don't mind, just to make sure? If we do it, I just want to make sure that the state is not going to come back and tell us that pay back the money.
well, in order to do something like that, it's costly, so, right.
Yeah, that's fine, it's a worthy cost though.
Yep. And just meeting with people on their grants, etc.
Okay.
And then here is the claims docket. The one payment that we are making is Craig and Huff for CLH, excuse me, on the corner of 8th and Pine, just did all the windows. That's payment.
Anything else for Dan? If not, do I have a motion to accept the director report and approve the claim docket? One motion, I guess. That's okay.
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thanks, Daniel. All right, back to the business grant. Do we have any other business grants from the committee?
Yes.
All right, first you go.
Okay, this is from United Ocean LLC, which is Hokkaido Sushi,
Okay.
up the road here from us. They've been around for a while, 3 years, 4 years. And
Just had lunch today? Yeah. They're great.
Yeah,
good stuff.
They're great.
And they will be even better if we can help them buy a new piece of equipment for their place, which is a big built-in griddle thing. So she gave us multiple quotes on here. And they want also some like real big powerful laundry machine things. So there's 2 pieces of equipment that they want. Three. Oh yeah, a meat slicer.
Yeah, blender, meat slicer.
Yeah, and a griddle. Okay, three things. With the low bids, we have $3,487 worth of equipment, and we're recommending to pay half of that, which is $1,744.
Is that the recommendation?
that's the recommendation.
Do I have a motion to accept the recommendation from the grant committee?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Chris, anything else?
I guess, would the board like us to entertain putting together a program for things such as these gardens that are coming up that are outside of this beautification?
In fact, I was going to say that there was a group that they are trying to organize right now. They are not fully organized, and it's right by Wild McLean neighborhood. It's Washington Park Boulevard, and it's really one of the kind of the oldest neighborhood in the city in a way, but they are trying to organize. They're not fully organized by an LLC or a 501c3 or whatever neighborhood organization that they have, but they definitely are talking and they are definitely organizing in a way. There is a few property, I believe the city owned a few property there, or one at least, that they are really interested in, all of them, but at least the person that I talked to, she said that we're really interested in having a park there, or a pocket park for the neighborhood. So I'm not quite sure where it's going to go from there. I just want to throw it out there that there is neighborhoods that they're interested. And they're, more so than them, it's definitely other neighborhoods as well. So, and I'm not quite sure how much the city owns around neighborhoods, and hopefully they do a few, I would say access property, but it's not really. If the city doesn't have any plans for it, it could be a beautiful pocket park for those neighborhoods, and it brings them together.
The
Makes
perfect parks, you talk sunsets, that kind of thing.
Either it's up to them. It's really, the pocket park is like the garden, for example. They do garden, so they love gardening. And some of them are botanic garden, for example.
That kind of thing, but you're also looking at costs for insurance.
It could just be a nice place to sit and gather with
Yeah.
shade and
yeah.
nice places to
I mean, you start
sit.
talking now with playground equipment and that,
Yeah.
the building costs are gonna go, not just because of the fall zones and that, and ADA accessibility, that is a nightmare. I mean, we have that with the park department going on now. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was wondering, that wouldn't just fall under that.
There's sound gardens, those sound gardens though, where they.
I don't think that was the intent at all, they're not really looking for a place to, playground, if you will, but they're.
Like you said, like a place to sit, talk,
Exactly, it's a playground for adults. It's really a sitting around the bench and,
Take some-
taking some pictures of flowers or watering some flowers. It's a conversation piece, I guess.
It's your front porch kind of thing,
Yeah,
just like together. Okay.
Then we have to talk the city into getting the positive values, go back to that.
That's true, but in my opinion, I guess, Northern Guam, the taxes are higher, right? So,
I mean, it's right, but still,
I'm with you, I'm just, it's up to them. The neighborhood needs to speak for itself, for whatever it's worth, so if they decide to actually have this as a pocket park, and they're well aware of the tax situation that they're in, so be it, good for them. I hope they'll enjoy the park and enjoy each other.
no doubt. I'm just thinking big picture, taking, properties off the tax roll might be something that the city's not in favor of.
Well, and that's a separate discussion, Keith, and I'm with you on it, and the operation cost does not equal the assessed value.
Right.
So that does not equal that, but I'm with you, I prefer to see development. But if there is a piece of land that the neighborhood is actually interested in actually being gathered or a social gather, and the neighborhood is content with their taxes, why not? That's good, let them have it. I hope, that's why we have park. It's a quality of life issue, it's not only money. So the parks usually lose, and it's not really, making money, it's actually a quality of life issue. So I just want to throw it out there that there is neighborhoods that they are interested. in similar programs. So yes, to answer your question, Chris.
Yeah, so, I guess what I would like to know then is, would you rather see another program, created that would fit things such as that and the, educational components of these gardens, which is sort of outside of what we have here, or would you rather see this neighborhood, grant program, amended to be able to include that? Because right now, this grant program, qualified projects eligible up for a 100% match up to $4,000. And we have 30,000 earmarked for this program right now. Would you like to see another program created and have more funds earmarked, or have this adapted to be able to include, to be more inclusive for those projects?
I think adapting probably is the more like it. That's me personally, but it's up to the board.
I mean, it seems to me that what you're talking about, maybe add one line to this, but it's everything's already there in the package.
And it kind of does say, any creative idea that fits the grant purpose.
Enhanced
So we just
landscaping,
tweak
public
the-
accommodations, garden,
Yeah.
enhanced landscaping.
And I think that's the key, probably the key point is the creative idea, you know? And that's awesome that the neighbors are getting creative about their neighbors.
Yeah.
So really,
Yeah.
there's something there.
Yeah, that's something we can help them.
Yeah.
So I'd say that back to board.
To the grant.
Just tune this in a little
Yeah.
bit. We have, I think I mentioned that Dominique Edwards is gonna sit on our grant committee, so it'd be nice to have some input from her.
Yes,
We'll cook this down a little bit and present this back to the board again.
that sounds really good. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's all.
No? Thank you. Old business strategic plan. I know we talked about it, I guess, I know you called it strategic plan, and I appreciate that.
And I also was kind of putting it in with, the EDC and the city just did theirs too. And, maybe stepping back and just thinking more about what we're actually gonna, I guess, what are we gonna do with the extra funds?
If the board would like to go through the process of the strategic plan, which is opportunity, weakness, and all the other good stuff, and create other committees, that's fine, it's a time-consuming process. And it takes probably 3 to 4 months, if not more, depending on the outcome or what we want. I'm gonna send probably an email to all, with one Excel sheet, and if you have the time, maybe you can think about the opportunity and the strength of the organization, or the weakness of the organization itself, and what is missing from the organization. So I think instead of going through the entire process of a strategic plan, it would be probably nice to have a condensed process, if you will, to allow for everyone to see what other people idea. I guess so, that's in a nutshell.
Question. Yeah, I think what you're asking for is kind of I mean, the part of the plan has to do with what the zone entails, and probably what are the opportunities in the zone, weaknesses in the zone, and what's going on within the zone.
Yeah.
I think once we know that, then we as a board can figure exactly what direction we want to head. Because if we just say, well, let's speak to the board or whatever, it really is not the board itself, it's the assets that the board manages that we need to figure out what are we going to see happen within the next 5 years.
Sure.
And so what's going on within the TIF district, within the north side, what's going on within, so the more information we have, then we can say, how do we play with what's going on within the zone? So that makes the board members much more educated, and we can say, okay, we want to play in this area, we want to do in this area. So I think that kind of what I'm thinking, how do we define or do the analysis of what's going on within the zone right now? And how do we, as the board, take those opportunities and say, we want to enhance this or partner with this group to make this happen.
Sure.
So that's kind of what I'm looking at.
Sounds really good. Anything else on the strategic plan? So look for that email either from myself or Diane, I guess, and it's hopefully coming up shortly. Anything else from the board? Would you like to talk about anything?
I have a question about the opportunity zones. How does that overlay with the urban enterprise? Do you have any idea roughly where the opportunity zone
North
is?
of 20, right?
It covers from
Most of it covers
11th Street over to about Liberty Trail, goes past the hospital. And it's a federal designation, so it has nothing to do with local laws. And it's kind of, I tell people, figure it as a 10-year, 1031 exchange. Those of you who do real estate, you know, you sell a property, you have 90 days, 6 months to get it, reinvest it, or Uncle Sam takes a big chunk of your money.
Right.
So in a opportunity zone, an investor can invest monies, and with their profits, they can delay the taxes or not pay a big chunk of taxes. The rules were modified again probably a few months ago to where you can actually own a business within the zone and then utilize the funds and not pay taxes on it for 10 years. So that's kind of what it is. So really doesn't affect this zone, except it enhances it, because I think people want to invest within the area where they can not pay the federal taxes at the higher level.
And they have to sell it in 10 years, right? They have to sell it by 2026.
Yeah.
That's kind of.
That's the current law. It keeps getting modified.
Right.
Now, Florence, I thought the zone actually is, the district, I'm sorry, the zone boundary, it's from north of 20.
We had applied for from Highway 20 and go all the way down to
Lakeshore Drive.
well, to Interstate 904 on the southeast side. But the governor said you can't have that much, and the premise became where they picked where they want to put it. So we were able to get 3 areas. But our initial ask was from Highway 20 north, and then on the southeast side, I said to go to where there's a lot of open space for development. But we didn't get it.
So did we get all the way, what is the boundary north?
Over 11th Street. Yeah.
So, no, I'm sorry, so from 20 all the way to 11?
No, from 11th Street all the way north.
All the way north, all the way to the lake?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it goes towards, just up past the hospital, and then it goes towards like, Liberty,
Liberty Trail,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
There are maps, I think, at the federal website.
Yeah. And we put together right now,
That's
a digital prospectus for investors, so we're looking at all the different properties within the zone that are either empty or possibly can be reinvested, and so we're going to probably have it ready in 2 weeks to put it on the website for people who will invest. We are one of our top 9% in the country for reinvestment, so we're trying to make sure people money is in City. So
That's good.
So the urban enterprise is pretty much enveloped by that. Yeah, okay. The other question I have is, we spoke last meeting about the planning department member on this board. Did we find out if there is a planning department appointment on this board? Is that something that is part of the?
It is. Right, but he hasn't been here,
Right.
so he needs to be probably replaced.
is there a rule for that, or?
I think they're short staffed right now from my understanding, is that correct?
Some people.
Yeah, they lost like one assistant, I believe.
In terms of, I gotta go back to the bylaws.
Yeah, bylaws to remove people, yeah, sorry.
Gotta look at
So,
I think though after you miss 3 meetings in a row, it's something like that.
Well, let's.
I don't know.
Somebody from the planning department is supposed to be on the board, right?
Yeah,
So the answer is yes.
that's also in the, that's in the law.
There you go.
Well, I'm asking because we really need that. Anyway, when we spoke earlier about not necessarily doing a whole strategic plan, but giving a general direction, it would be very helpful if we have someone here from the planning department in some capacity to let us, that's all.
I think probably maybe we have a meeting where we have somebody from like Craig come and talk about what's going on within the district, which entails along his zone and kind of what those plans are. They have some stuff on the internet, the website. And then what some of the plans are going forward for some other things they're doing, because that helps the board get to know how we want to partner or what direction we want to spend money and what items. I mean, those things are all helpful.
All right. Sounds good.
So,
Anything else from the board? Hearing none, can I have a motion to adjourn? Second?
awesome.
Is that a second?
I said support.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Thank you.